Imagine you are buried under 3 meters of snow. It is completely dark, completely silent. You cannot move your arms. You cannot stand up. You do not know which direction is up. You have approximately 15 minutes before the snow around you compresses so tightly that your lungs cannot expand enough to breathe. You have no phone, no beacon, no rescue team standing by. You have your hands, your brain, and whatever your group taught you before this moment. Now here is the question. Modern humans, with all our equipment, all our technology, all our avalanche training courses and rescue apps and GPS beacons, still die in avalanches every single winter, hundreds of people. Every year, with every advantage we have, ancient humans had none of that. No equipment, no rescue teams, no weather forecasts. Just snow, darkness, and a body that was not built for either. And they survived, not by luck. Not by accident, by knowing something about snow that most modern humans have completely forgotten. This is that story. Before we talk about how ancient humans survived, you need to understand what you are actually surviving. Because most people have the wrong picture. They imagine an avalanche like a wave, a wall of snow rolling down a mountain. You run. Maybe you make it. Maybe you do not. The running part is correct. Everything else is wrong. An avalanche travels at up to 300 kilometers per hour. You cannot run from it. You cannot outski it. You cannot outrun it on a snowmobile. By the time you hear it, by the time you see it, by the time your brain has processed what is happening, it has already reached you. The snow hits you like concrete, not powder. Concrete. At that speed, the impact force is enough to break bones, tear muscles, knock you unconscious before you have even stopped moving. And then it stops. And here is the part nobody tells you. The moment an avalanche stops moving, the snow sets. Instantly, like wet cement hardening in seconds. The same snow that was flowing like water one moment becomes a rigid, locked, immovable mass the next. You are now in a space the size of a small cupboard, with no light, with snow hardening around you, with a limited and rapidly depleting air supply. And the clock, which started the moment the snow stopped, is running very fast. Here is the number that changes everything. 15 minutes. That is the survival window inside an avalanche burial. Not an hour. Not until the rescue team arrives. 15 minutes. After 15 minutes, survival rates drop off a cliff. The air pocket around your face, the small space your breath creates before the snow fully compresses, begins to fill with carbon dioxide. Not because you run out of oxygen first, because you fill the space with what you breathe out. You suffocate on your own breath. This is the thing modern avalanche research confirmed in the 1990s. Ancient humans did not have the research, but they had thousands of years of watching what happened to people who got buried and what happened to the ones who made it out. They knew the window existed even without being able to name it. They built their entire survival strategy around one goal, staying alive inside that window long enough for someone to find you, or finding a way out yourself. Both required the same thing: understanding snow. Ancient humans who lived in mountainous, snowy regions, the Alps, the Himalayas, Siberia, Scandinavia, did not see snow the way we see it. We see snow as weather, as inconvenience, as something that happens to us. They saw snow as a language. They read it constantly, every day, every season, every year of their lives from childhood. They knew that certain slopes avalanche, not because someone told them, because they watched, because their group watched before them, because the knowledge was passed down across generations in exactly the same way we pass down language, through repetition, through story, through the specific and urgent education that happens when survival depends on getting it right. They knew that a slope between 30 and 45 degrees is the most dangerous, shallow enough to hold snow, steep enough to release it. They knew that a heavy snowfall followed by wind is a warning. The wind creates slabs, dense, unstable plates of snow sitting on weaker layers underneath. Step on one and you trigger a release that can take the entire slope with it. They knew that the sound of snow, a hollow, drum-like thud underfoot, meant the slab was already unstable, already ready. They did not have the scientific vocabulary for any of this, but they had the knowledge, encoded in behavior, in route choices, in the specific paths they traveled, and the specific times of day they traveled them. Modern avalanche science did not discover these principles, it rediscovered them. Centuries after the people who first figured them out were gone. But even with all that knowledge, avalanches happen. Mountains are unpredictable, and ancient humans got buried. So what did they do? The first thing, and this sounds simple but requires enormous presence of mind in complete darkness under compression, is to create space. The moment the snow starts to slow, before it sets, you move. You push your face forward. You create a small air pocket with your hands cupped in front of your mouth. You spit, saliva falls with gravity, which tells you which direction is down, which direction is up. You spit to find the sky. This is not a modern survival technique. This is ancient knowledge, passed down through every group that lived close enough to mountains to need it. Then you dig. But not randomly. You dig toward up, which you now know because of the spit. You dig in one direction only. Digging in multiple directions wastes the tiny amount of energy and air you have left. If you cannot dig out, you make noise. You wait. You breathe slowly and shallowly to reduce carbon dioxide buildup. And you trust that the people above you are doing what they were trained to do. Which brings us to the most important survival tool ancient humans had: each other. Modern avalanche rescue works on one principle above everything else. The first 15 minutes are everything. After that, the rescue team is no longer a rescue operation. It is a recovery operation. And the only people who can save you in the first 15 minutes are the people who were with you when it happened. Not the rescue team calling from the valley. Not the helicopter that takes 40 minutes to arrive. The people standing on the slope with you. Ancient humans understood this at a level we have largely forgotten. Survival in the mountains was never individual. It was never one person against the snow. It was always a group. Always collective knowledge. Always the understanding that the person next to you is your actual survival equipment. They traveled in groups specifically because a solo burial was a death sentence and a group burial was a solvable problem. They assigned roles. Watchers who scanned slopes while others moved. People who stayed at safe points while others crossed dangerous terrain. Specific individuals whose job during an avalanche was to track, to keep their eyes fixed on where they last saw each buried person and mark that spot the moment the snow stopped, because the mark is everything. Every second spent searching in the wrong place is a second of the 15-minute window gone. This is what modern avalanche courses teach. This is what ancient humans practiced every single winter for thousands of years. We look at ancient humans and see people who had less than us, less technology, less knowledge, less equipment, less everything. But stand them on a mountain in winter and the comparison flips completely. They read snow the way we read road signs. They knew the mountain the way we know our own street. They carried survival knowledge in their heads, specific, tested, generationally refined knowledge that no battery could drain and no signal could lose. The most dangerous thing about the modern world is not that avalanches got worse. It is that we outsourced the knowledge that kept us alive inside them. We put it in apps, in beacons, in rescue services we assume will arrive in time. Ancient humans did not assume anyone was coming. They made sure they already knew what to do. And buried in the dark, under 3 meters of snow, with 15 minutes on the clock, that knowledge was the only thing that mattered. Slow down. Think a little.